Every year, thousands of tons of Humboldt squid get hauled up from the waters off the coast of Peru. But how many folks never make it back to shore? What makes catching Humboldt squid one of the most dangerous jobs in South America? Why do people still head out to sea, facing rough waves, pitch darkness, and a type of squid that can actually fight back? In this video, we're diving into the world of Humboldt squid fishing, where the danger ain't just coming from the ocean. On this trip, you're going to discover the hidden risks lurking in every fishing line, the real story behind what looks like primitive fishing technology, and the true price behind that crispy, golden fried squid you might order. If you think this is just another seafood story, just wait till you see. A hand-to-mouth fishing industry that's risky as all get out. But it's also feeding thousands of families, and it's raising a whole bunch of questions about sustainability, ethics, and what the future holds for these giant squid. Stick around till the end of the video, because what you're about to see might make you never look at fried calamari the same way again. During the day, the ocean off the coast of Peru looks pretty peaceful. But when night falls, everything changes. It ain't the ocean anymore. It's an all-out battle arena. On the surface of the water, thousands of LED lights blink like a floating city shimmering in the middle of nowhere. But those lights ain't there to light up the way for people. They're there to lure the squid. The kind of squid they're after. It ain't your regular calamari, not your typical squid. It's the Humboldt squid, or more accurately, a biological machine with tentacles. And if you think this is just your average fishing gig, just wait till you hear what these squid can do. Humboldt squid can grow up to 6.5 feet long and weigh over 110 pounds. Unlike a lot of squid that try to avoid the light, these guys swim straight towards the brightest spots, right where the fishing lines are hanging like a spider web. And they don't come alone. They travel in big groups, they coordinate, they swirl around, they cut nets, they snatch bait. It's like they know it's a fight for survival. Some nights the nets are just overflowing with squid. But other nights, the squid are the ones causing all the trouble. When they get hauled up onto the boat, Humboldt squid don't just lie there waiting to be dealt with. They thrash around, spray ink everywhere, swing their tentacles, and they'll even attack the fishermen. Their tentacles are so long and strong they can wrap right around a guy's arm when he's pulling the line. And their parrot-like beak can bite right through thick gloves, leaving a nasty wound. One fisherman told a story. They don't just die when you catch them. Some of them keep fighting like crazy even when they're on deck. I've seen guys get knocked down, hit their heads on the winch, and lay there unconscious because a squid wouldn't let go. And all that's happening on a slippery boat deck, covered in seawater and the slime from dozens of squirming squid. It's a tight space. The bright lights are blinding. Darkness surrounds you. 3 seconds of losing focus. That's all it takes to slip, crack your head, and never make it back home. But that ain't even the most dangerous part. Why go squid fishing at night instead of during the day? Because that's when the Humboldt squid come up closer to the surface to hunt. And they only come close if there's a strong enough light. But that also means Peruvian fishermen have to work from 6 in the evening all the way until 6 in the morning, with pretty much no high-tech help. No radar, no sonar, no automatic line-pulling systems. Just their hands. And a slim hope that tonight the squid will be plentiful, the sea will be calm, and everyone will still be alive to make it back to shore. You think this is your average fishing job? Nope. This is a gamble every single night. Against the ocean, against a wild creature. You might have thought squid was just a simple dish. But down in Peru, it's a dangerous animal. A challenge every single night. And the fisherman, standing under those pale white lights on the Black Sea, he ain't just a fisherman anymore. He's a gambler. With every yank of that line, his whole life is hanging in the balance. Down in Peru, most of the boats fishing for Humboldt squid still use a pretty old-school method. Handline fishing, just a line in your hands. Each fisherman works for 10 to 12 hours every night, handling 3 to 5 fishing lines at the same time, constantly pulling, letting out, pulling, at a speed that doesn't allow for any mistakes. No machines to help out. No time for breaks. Because if you stop, the squid ain't gonna wait for you. The only real tool they use to attract the prey is light. Each boat can hang anywhere from 200 to over 1,000 super bright LED bulbs all around the hull, creating this eerie glow in the middle of the night, what the fishermen call the artificial sun on the sea. There ain't no motorized winch systems to help haul in the squid, no underwater monitoring control panels. Every single step, from baiting the hook to pulling the line, is pure, hard manual labor. Folks on the outside might think, well, they're poor. They don't have the money to upgrade their technology. But the truth is, it's way more complicated than that. Actually, the way they catch squid in Peru ain't stuck in the past because they're broke. There are at least 3 main reasons why the fishing technology in Peru has pretty much stayed the same. First off, they don't need to go far offshore, because the squid are right near the coast. Unlike tuna or deep-sea squid, Humboldt squid hang out really close to the Peruvian coastline. Thanks to that nutrient-rich Humboldt current, all they need is the lights, and the squid come right to them. No need for sonar to find them, no big boats needed, no deep-sea gear required. The simpler it is, the easier it is to make a buck. And if the profits are already coming in, why bother changing? Second, low costs. Just enough profit to get by. A handline fishing boat can pay for itself in just 1 or 2 fishing seasons. Fishermen don't need to make big investments, don't need a complicated crew to run things, and they can make a steady income for 6 to 8 months during squid season, as long as they're healthy enough to do it. A simple system, less financial risk, easy to keep going. When the money's still coming in, who wants to mess with that system? Third, and this is the big one, operating outside the system, and it's on purpose. By a lot of estimates, up to 80% of the boats fishing for Humboldt squid in Peru are operating outside the national registration system, which means no registration, no taxes, no safety standards, and no limits on how much they catch. This unofficial system doesn't just exist, it's become the standard way of doing things in the squid industry. And when you ain't forced to be transparent, why would you invest in technology that just makes it easier to get watched? It's this whole under-the-radar thing that helps them stick to the manual fishing method. It's cheap and flexible, but it also means the safety standards are pretty much zero. But the danger ain't just about being behind the times. It's about the price they have to pay to keep that system running. No GPS. Easy to get lost if the power goes out. No emergency signal lights. Boats crashing into each other at night is a common thing. No life-saving equipment. Falling overboard is pretty much a death sentence. No limits on how much they catch. The squid population gets hammered every season. No way to track where the squid came from. Markets like the EU are starting to refuse imports from Peru. A system that works doesn't mean it's safe, and an industry that's still alive doesn't mean it ain't falling apart. Peruvian fishermen ain't behind the times because they're poor. They're behind the times because the whole value chain, from catching the squid to buying it and shipping it out, is built on being manual, flexible, and unofficial. But that's exactly what's pushing them into a type of fishing where every night ain't just about making a living. The fishermen who chase Humboldt squid, they live out on the ocean for 6 to 8 months every year, but they live a life unlike any other. And if you think this is just your average fishing job, just wait till you see what they have to give up every single night. Working 12 to 14 hours every night, 7 days a week. No shift changes, no cabins to rest in, no automatic systems to help out. 1 minute of losing focus, the squid gets away. One wrong pull, the squid fights back. There's no room for mistakes, no quiet moments to catch your breath, and nothing to stand between them and danger. But what's even scarier than the squid are the accidents that you never see coming. Accidents. They're never really called surprises. They're just part of the deal in this line of work. Slipping on the deck because it's covered in slimy squid guts, cracking your head, breaking bones, fishing line wrapping around your hand, tendon injuries, ripped skin, Squid smacking you in the face, busted eyelids, broken nose, falling overboard, gone in the middle of the night, 'cause there ain't no GPS or life-saving gear. Everything happens in the dark. No cameras, no supervision. Nobody even knows you were ever there. And if you're getting the chills, remember, we're just scratching the surface here. Most of the boats fishing for Humboldt squid in Peru ain't officially registered. And that means no labor contracts, no health insurance, no accident insurance, and nobody's responsible if you don't come back. Get hurt? Go home and take care of it yourself. Go missing? Your family just has an empty space where you used to be. This ain't just manual labor. This is labor outside the safety net of society. And in that world, a human life is worth less than a fishing line. The world keeps eating squid, but they don't see the darkness. Every year, Peru ships out hundreds of thousands of tons of Humboldt squid to China, South Korea, Spain, Italy. The squid gets turned into dried stuff, sushi, fried calamari, snacks. It shows up in supermarkets and restaurants everywhere. But does anyone know that? Every piece of golden grilled squid might cost a fisherman a sleepless shift. Every plate of fried calamari might have a drop of blood from a hand that got ripped up pulling lines. No way to trace where it came from. No clear picture of the working conditions. No straight answers about a system that's shady, somewhere between a job and a social hazard. When every night of fishing turns into a gamble, the fishermen ain't the only ones placing bets. Society is too. 'Cause if the folks who bring seafood to our tables are the same ones getting squeezed by a system that doesn't protect them, can we really still call it an industry? Or is it just a new kind of exploitation of human lives? On paper, Humboldt squid is one of the success stories of Peruvian fisheries. Hundreds of thousands of tons produced every year, exported to over 50 countries, commercial value in the billions of dollars. But if you look closely, you gotta ask, who's really making the money in this business? Is it the guy who stays up for 12 hours every night pulling each squid out of the deep? Is it the person standing on a slippery deck, risking their neck just to bring a few pounds of squid back to port? The answer, sadly, is no. The journey of a Humboldt squid after it's caught doesn't end at the port. It starts going through a multi-layered supply chain, and with every layer, it gets further away from the person who caught it. From manual handline fishing boat, small processing port, buying company, processing plant, exporting company, international trading hub, supermarket, restaurant, delivery app, and finally, the consumer. At every stop, the price goes up. But the guy who started the whole chain, the fisherman, still gets the smallest cut. An exporting company can make 5 to 10 times more profit per pound of squid, just off branding, labels, and just coordinating things. Meanwhile, the fisherman has to buy his own fuel, replace his own fishing lines, fix his own boat, and take all the risks if the LED lights break down in the middle of the night. Where's the fairness in that? No brand, no bargaining power, and no name mentioned. Have you ever seen a brand of Humboldt squid in the market? Do you know who caught the squid you're eating? The answer is almost impossible to know. 'Cause boats ain't registered, they don't have names. Cooperatives are weak, they don't have a brand to represent them. Fishermen have no power, they can't set the price for their own squid. Heck, Peruvian squid, after it gets shipped to China, might get processed again, slapped with a Japanese, Italian, or Korean label, and sold for way more money. So in this global game, who's really calling the shots? The Humboldt squid industry is feeding thousands of people in Peru. But the whole direction of this value chain, from the price they get paid, to how it's processed, to how it's sold, ain't in the hands of the folks who go out to sea. The people who control the supply chain. They've never even set foot on a handline fishing boat. But they have the power to set a price on the lives of the people who make the product. And that's the biggest paradox of all. The fishermen are the ones creating the value, but they don't get to decide its worth. When the lights on the ocean go out, what they bring back ain't just profit. It's calloused hands, wounds on their shoulders, and a faint hope that tomorrow night might be better. Are we building a food system where the blood, sweat, and tears get hidden away, and only the pretty picture gets shown? If you've watched this far, maybe you're feeling what we're feeling. This ain't just a story about Humboldt squid. This is a story about the modern fishing industry, where people are still living like it's the Middle Ages, and about a global value chain where the people who make the product are the first ones to be forgotten. If you think this story's worth getting out there, please share this video, not to make anyone stop eating squid, but to get more people asking questions. Where does everything we eat come from? Who made it? And is the real cost just what's on the bill, or is it also out there in the waves where nobody sees? And if you thought this was the last video about the ocean, you'd be wrong. 'Cause out on the high seas, there are still other battles going on, where people aren't just up against nature, but also the very systems they've created. We'll be back real soon.